Hello, we love unicorns and welcome back to my channel and another episode. I don't even know at what number we're at right now. Could this be like 6 or 7? Well, it's another episode of Make Your Own Perfect Palette, and this time we are at the colored Raine Queen of Hearts. Finally. I am so sorry that this has been taking me so long. I had so many requests for this palette, and actually I think the palette is beautiful. There is a lot of neutrals in there that I think that you already own, and I won't be showing any alternatives to those simply for the reason of I think you might already own them. If you have not seen any of these videos from me before, I will leave the playlist up here if you want to catch up. But also, this is not about you buying all the shadows that I need. This is not about me bashing the brand colored Raine or bashing the palette or saying that it's bad or that you shouldn't buy it. Well, now you can't, but that you shouldn't have bought it. This has nothing to do with that. This is just me showing you another way, an alternative of getting the palette if you feel like you already have a lot of the similar shades in this palette, and sometimes some palettes are so hyped up and you just want to pluck them apart, and so that I can show you that actually you might already own this palette or own big parts of it, and then maybe you can just get like 1 or 2 of the shadows that I'm showing you and you already have the whole palette. New products get such a big hype around them on social media today, and sometimes you feel like you need to get all of them, but you really don't. Try to look upon them as I look upon this palette today, like, do I have something similar to this shade? So even if they're like in the palette in a unique way, maybe you only need to get 1 or 2 shadows to get the whole thing together with the things you already have, because we can't be buying new stuff all the time. And this is also a way for you to maybe see what could be dupes for the palette if you wanted to get the palette and you couldn't because it's sold out, or if it was too expensive for you, or for whatever reason. I just want to show you what I think is the big most important color scheme of the palette, and just skip the parts that are like fillers, like neutrals that you probably already have, and show you some alternatives, and maybe you feel like I already own this, because to be honest, I already own this palette, but in other colors. So let me show you how it looks. This is the one that I put together today, and as you can see, most of these are really similar colors, and I think the palette has a lot of really pretty browns, to be honest, and neutrals, but I didn't want to show those because if you have one neutral palette, you will have those browns, and I think there's a gold as well, but you'll have that. We don't need to talk about that, but there was a pretty pink, so I'm bringing you 2 alternatives. There's a pretty orange, and I'm bringing you 2 alternatives. A pretty matte purple, and I'm bringing you 2 alternatives, and then there was some shimmery purples and reds, and I just wanted to show you a wide array of shimmery purples and reds to show you that maybe you don't need to have the exact same one. There's a lot of alternatives out there in the purple, red, burgundy, shimmery scale, like a lot, and I thought I'd show you some new ones because I always tend to show you alternatives from Coastal Scents, and now I'm only having 1 Coastal Scent shadow here, and actually the newcomer here is the Colourpop Signal, so I'm showing you a couple of those. So let's get to swatching. I tried lowering the lights a bit, but I don't know if it's working. It's really hard recording when you don't have a monitor, let me tell you. All I do is look at the camera and just praying that we're recording and it's looking somewhat decent. The palette had a really beautiful, like a neutrally pink, that was a matte, that was perfect for the crease. This Say I Do from Colourpop is a good alternative if you want to get into these like pinks in the crease, but you don't want to buy the whole palette for it. I do think that this pink is more pink than the one that's in the palette, but I wanted to show you an alternative to this one, that is Makeupgeek's Cupcake, that I actually think is more similar to the one that's in the palette. Oh my god, the dent in this one is hard. So you can see that there's a difference between these. This is much more muted and mauvey, and this is more of a brighter pink. So it just depends on, I just wanted to give you some alternatives. It's going to be the same with the other colors. If you want to go more subtle, or if you want to go more bright, because I love bright, that's me. And if you feel like you love the color scheme of the palette but just want to kick it up 1 more notch, I just want to give you some alternatives. And this one, which was, wait, Say I Do, It's just a bit more brighter than this Cupcake that I actually think is more similar to the one that's in the palette. I actually have the exact same thing when it comes to the oranges. This one that is Morocco by Makeupgeek, I think that the color in the palette is pretty much this one, a more muted one. But this one that is Coastal Sands Marmalade, it is a bit more bright, and if you wanted to have a bit more bright, this would be perfect, because this is super bright and super nice. And this is the one that I have going on in like the inner parts of my crease. It is this one, Marmalade. But also this one that is Morocco, if you wanted to stay a bit more muted and be a bit more neutral, I think that this is more similar to the one that's actually in the palette. Let's do the exact same thing with the matte purple ones. This is the one that I think is actually most like the one that's in the palette, because there's a beautiful matte red toned dark purple in the palette, and this one that is Going Steady by Colourpop, I think this is a dead-on dupe. To be honest, I've looked at a lot of swatches and I think this one is the same one. But this one that is 143 by Colourpop, this is in the same family but just a tad brighter. So if you like the color scheme of the palette, same like I said here, but wanted it to be more bright, go with this one instead, because it's in the same family but just a tad brighter. And I have these two mixed on the outer portion of my crease today. Let's start with this 143. Oh, I'm not good with numbers at all. Look at how bright this is. That is pigment overload. That is just sick. And this is the one that's called Going Steady. So beautiful. So these two, they're in the same family, but this is just a bit brighter and has a bit more of that violet tone in it, and I love both of these, but this one is really unique actually. I love this one. The palette had two shimmery colors that was in the red purple family, and I have two purple ones that I want to show you, but I don't think that either of these are dupes for the one in the palette, because I think the one in the palette is a bit darker, to be honest. And the first one I'm going to show you is Double Date by Colourpop, and this is a really pretty, like a metallic lavender purple color. If you wanted to have something lighter that's metallic, this is perfect. I don't think it's the same as the one in the palette, and I think that this one is closer. This is You Know Moon by Nabla. If you have not heard about Nabla, you are missing out. They are making some amazing eyeshadows. This is You Know Moon, and I think this is actually quite similar to the one in the palette, but I wanted to offer you a lighter version if you like that metallic purple, but you don't want to go like bam, super purple. This one actually, you know what, I think this is a dupe for the one in the palette. I take it all back. I think this one looks a lot like the one in the palette. So that is You Know Moon by Nabla. I will link this one down below if you don't know where to get Nabla, because you can order Nabla from their website. The last four colors are what I would like to consider dupes for the more red shade in the palette. I actually think that this one is the most dupey one, to be honest, because it's more of that red burgundy. But I wanted to show you three other nice red shadows that lean more towards the purple side, because a purpley red can be easier on the eye, like easier for you to wear than one that's like super red and warm, if you're feeling like you don't want to like take the super plunge. So I wanted to show you some alternatives, and these are some of my favorites, to be honest. The first one that I'm showing you is Pinky Promise, and this is one of the most beautiful shadows. Colourpop, you like totally is out of the park with this one. Look at how beautiful Pinky Promise is. So it's pretty much the same as the first one, or the other one, the Nabla You Know Moon, but they are pretty similar, but this has a red tone and this has a more of a pinky tone. But this one that is called Pinky Promise, I have not learned the names of the Colourpop shadows yet. It is beautiful. If you're ordering for Colourpop shadows, this one and that 143, this one, oh, they're two of my favorites so far from Colourpop. They're amazing. The next one I want to show you is the one that I actually think is a dupe for the color in the Queen of Hearts palette, and this is Curtain Call by Makeupgeek. This is one of their foil shadows, so it has that bit of an oily texture. I use this under my eyes today, and it works good with a brush, but you just have to work a bit with it. But as you can see, it has a beautiful texture. It is just totally opaque, but you can have a problem working with it with a brush if you're not using a more of a stiff synthetic brush. If you're not, it's going to be horrible to work with. But this Curtain Call, I am pretty sure that this is a dupe for the color that is in this palette. Now let me show you two other reddish shadows that I love. So if you are in the market for colors that are in this family, you might love these as well. This is Divina Siren, and this is a beautiful color. Oh wait, I'm crumbling all over the place, but look at this. It is actually not that crumbly, it was just me digging into it too hard. This is beautiful. You can see it reminds me a bit of this one, but it is darker, more wine colored. It is gorgeous. This Siren by Divina. The last shadow I have to show you is another shadow from an indie brand. This is Bite the Apple by Beauty Cosmetics. This is lighter. It's almost like a pastel-y, lighter version of the colors that I have above, and it has some beautiful glitter in it that actually translates, and it has like a pinky sheen. It is super unique, super beautiful, and if you like shadows in this realm and want to try an indie brand, this Bite the Apple from Beauty Cosmetics is beautiful. It's what I have on my lid today, and I love this one. So that's it. These are the shadows that I picked as a dupe the palette, so to speak. Let me know, do you have the palette? Do you think that I am like on the right track with these colors right here? And I'm sorry if you were looking for dupes for the goldy browny shades. I'm not that much into those shades, and trust me when I say, if you have any neutral palette, you have browns and you're fine. Just like if you start your collection like buying single shadows like this, just get like 8 or something with the neutrals, with some browns, and maybe like a cooler brown, a warmer brown, a darker brown, like a beige, like a peach for blending into the crease. When you have like those 6, 7, 8, 9 shades down, then you can start picking up what is the color scheme that I like, and you can pick 1 or 2 or 3 shadows to add to your collection every season. You don't have to do like us doing videos on YouTube and buy like 20. Just get a couple until you have the color scheme that you like, and like before every season you can be like, you know what would I like to add to my collection? And maybe you're feeling like you need some blue, then just get 2 blues. Don't stress it. You don't have to buy every palette, you don't have to buy every color. Look at some different swatches, look at some different options, and just get some or none, which is fine too. Maybe you've seen these now and you're like, you know what, this isn't my color scheme at all. I don't even like this. And that's fine too. I think that was it. I've been rambling what seems like forever, but I actually think that this might be a bit of a short video. I will insert some close-ups right here so you can see how they look. Okay people, so that was it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for subscribing if you are, and if you aren't, maybe you should. I do upload videos every week, and I'm in a happy mood. Thank you for being here. And oh, don't forget to let me know what kind of palettes you would like to see next. I have been getting some requests to do the Androgyny palette by Jeffree Star, and I actually have that palette, so I thought that I was going to use it a bit more, and then I was going to review it, and of course I will let you in on the dupes of that palette when I review it, so don't stress, that's coming, just hold on. Is that the right thing? I don't even know. Bye!